This meeting is being recorded.
Welcome, everybody. This is Thursday, the 24th of March, would you believe, 2022, and this is the Helm Dev call. So we're going to kick off with announcements, and at the moment we've nothing in the doc. Does anyone want to jump in and maybe they have something to announce? Okay, we're a very quiet bunch today. Excellent. Could be out of here.
Yeah, we do have the I mean, just definitely come to KubeCon if you can, because we do have a maintainers track coming up with a few of us on this call, helping with that. Have a booth. I don't know. It's sort of a repeating announcement, but
yeah, I might actually hand it over to you, Karen. What Scott says is true, but you don't have to go. KubeCon's going to be hybrid, and nobody's under any pressure to go because these days things are a bit challenging for everybody. Karen, do you want to bring up anything around, because we have the booths and different pieces of work to do, and if folks can help out there?
Yeah, if people want to go to the notes from March 10th, the exact details are there. I don't remember them all as well personally, but like Scott mentioned, we will have a Helm booth, and so that's gonna, I think consistently in the afternoon, and then on site, and then there's also virtual project office hours. So for those of you who can't make the physical booth, we will also have one session that will just be like virtual office hours held on Betty. And then also we do have a meeting room as well. So we have a dedicated space for us to use if we want to have any in-person discussions. Yeah, I guess we still kind of need to figure out how we want to use that room, if at all. If not, we can give it back to CNC if they want to use it for something else, or we just keep it around. Yeah, so that is our project presence for KubeCon.
Okay. Anything else, Karen?
I don't know, but Scott's raising his hand, and I want to know what he wants to say.
Yeah, I was just curious about that, because we had talked earlier about like, hey, maybe we could do something like a Helm Summit for KubeCon EU, and it's like, no, that was way too soon. But perhaps, we've been discussing doing this in the next KubeCon and Cloud Native Con and the next NA one. I guess my question is, would it be valuable to use that room for, I don't know, like planning purposes, or for that maybe?
You want to like start, yeah, I mean, we could use that to like start discussions for like a Helm Summit for Detroit. Yeah, that's fine. I don't know if there's anything else more pressing, like if we want to like talk, I don't know, like talk to users, or like maintainers want to have any specific conversations, we can use it for that as well. We have it for 4 hours, so we could do everything. Yeah.
I'd love to get feedback from folks about preview thoughts for interests in Helm 4.
Yeah. Okay, you and I can talk.
Okay.
Yeah,
sounds good.
I suppose the big thing there is to just, and Karen, you'll be well on top of this because you're always great at this, is getting that out there and making it known to people, so where it's on and stuff like that. But I think that's a good idea, very good idea around that. So yeah, well done, Scott and Karen. One little thing I just wanted to add around the booth, and I didn't think it would work. I'm not really a virtual person, but I found the virtual booth, I think it was the last KubeCon I did it, was very good. There was a lot of really good input, and people were really engaged. So if there's any folks out there that have lots of questions or wants to bring stuff up, they can always bring it up here, or they can do it at the booth as well. And obviously the in-person booth is always probably a bit more easier, because you can just get up and chat away to a person if you feel safe with that. So yeah. Okay, anything else around the assignments, or sorry, around the announcements? Okay, let's get on into the discussion. So first up is Scott. So Scott, you want to tell us around what do you want to talk around the PR 10568?
Yes, please. It may not take very long if folks don't have thoughts about this, but I thought for a moment Hida had joined. Maybe he got booted. That's okay. Well, the reason I was mentioning that is because Hida's also commented on this PR and has implemented this. Right now, oh, thanks, Trina. Yeah, that is the link, and or that's the PR. The links in the meeting notes, and this is really one of those PRs that relates to, or that's more appropriate, more relevant to SDK users, Helm SDK users than the CLI, because what happens is with the CLI, after your commands are finished, those transports the connections are ended, they're terminated, and so it's fine. But what happens if you use the SDK as any kind of a daemon, they're never closed. so it's just, they just stack up. So every additional HTTP transport, every additional request there, it just opens up a new transport, and they just linger around forever. So this was something that we identified, or that was identified through the it's not really a security thing, but it's a resource use thing, and it can cause problems. So it was identified with the Flux Helm controller. But literally anyone who's using this for the SDK, if they've got long running or forever running processes like a daemon, will run into this issue.
Okay, so definitely this is something we want to fix, because obviously it hasn't shown up before because the CLI closed all the connections once it finishes his command. And you've obviously found it in the Flux operator because you've it running the whole time. You're constantly making calls. So where is it at? Is it a case of that we need to get some maintainers on it to review it and try and get this through the gate? And is it ready to go through the gate, Scott?
Yes, here's some context. So I was going to review and approve it today, but I wanted to just give it one more look. And because this call was coming up, I figured, well, I'll raise it. I can say that it's being used in production right now because for the last almost 3 weeks, the latest release of the Flux Helm controller has been using a fork with this change. So that is definitely not what we want to do, but it was necessary to help improve that problem that was identified temporarily. So because of that, it's pretty well tested. There are unit tests. There is one question which I was going to address. There's one question by YXX Hero about, should we do a check if transport 1 doesn't equal transport instead of doesn't equal transport 2? What I was going to say is it's extremely minor. It would be an extraordinarily minor benefit, if anything. The main thing is the unit test. The first one tests, like, the first part of the test asserts that the transport's actually being injected, and the second part of the test asserts that you can't change it, that you can't change the options along the way, that it's really the initial, it's basically the do once check. So I was thinking maybe I could add a comment there to make that more clear if it wasn't clear in the code.
It looks like Josh already approved it. Josh, do we need to cover that some more? What Scott's?
I would, no, I just took a look at it. I think it's pretty harmless. I think the issue the person had was with the test file. Scott, would you want to do like a follow-up PR and just fix the test so we can?
Yeah, I mean, that sounds great. Yes, I'll do that, because it would be ever so slightly more strict, but it wouldn't really make much of a difference because of what it's testing. But sure, I'll do that. And yeah, and I'll give that approval too, because I looked it over earlier. I just wanted to bring it up.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Just one thing.
Yeah.
This is more a bug than a feature. What's people's opinion on that? It is. So I'm going to, it somehow has the label of feature, so I'm going to change that to bug. And we'll hit this for the milestone 3.8.2. Okay, so yeah, I will try and take a look at it, but it's going to be, you might have it merged by then, because I'm not going to get to it this evening because I'm on my evening time. So it could be in the morning, but I'll take a look at it if it's still there in the morning. But if it's fixing the handle on that should be closed, then I think that's good to go. So I'll leave it up to you and Josh then on that. Let's go.
Sounds good. Why don't I merge it after, or merge it after I leave the comment that I'll make a follow-up PR for that one strict value.
Yeah, if you're happy enough that it runs the way you expect it to. Probably some manual tests should be done on it as well, because there's often some level of a gap there, and it would be better to do that, especially for something like this. Okay, that sounds good. So let's move on. I have lost my way. 1 second.
Oh, and I just wanted to say, sorry, I do have to leave. I know you knew that, Martin, but thanks everyone. And I'll see you next time.
That's not a bother. Okay, so just 1 second. I've just lost my notes. Okay, so next up, oh shit. Okay, so sorry about that. Next up is Philippe. So Philippe, do you want to talk about your HIP 242 around the export values? Go for it.
Yes. So I was just nagging again if anyone had the chance to have a look at this. If not, then I mean, we talked about it last week already, so we can just skip over that. But if someone had the chance in the last week to have a look there, then would be happy to talk about it.
So what came out of the discussion, Philippe, last week on St. Patrick's Day?
That no one really had a look at it before. So
okay.
I just summarized what it does a bit, and then we said, okay, someone should have a look.
Okay, so what I'll do is I'll highlight that with the maintainers to have a look, and let's see if we can get some traction on it. Okay.
Yeah, perfect.
All right. Okay. So, Joe, timely PR reviews. Go with it, Joe.
Alrighty. So I've been away for 2 weeks. At the beginning, before I left for 2 weeks, there was some new people that were offering some code contributions based on the good first issues and whatnot. And I gave them my review, but of course I'm not a maintainer, so that doesn't really matter. But there's been no reviews for the last 2 weeks, and the people are getting disheartened and wanting to give up. I don't want that to happen. I think one of the things I think the reason there are so few people that can review is because we can't get new people in because they give up before they become invested in helping out. And I'm wondering if there's anything we can, any way to, if there's any ideas on how to make this better.
I suppose if people have the time to work on it, Joe, I suppose is the big thing. I don't have any set answer on this. Maybe it's something we need to sit down as maintainers and say, right, where are we going with the reviews on this? What reviews are there? And how we get through some of those reviews, I suppose. I suppose it's mostly down to people's times, really. It's as simple as that. Anyone else got anything they can add to this?
I came to comment, share some comments on that PR because I had the impression that the maintainers didn't prioritize that because looks like they didn't have much visibility on use case. So I'm Hector. I work for Electronic Arts, and I see that. Or the thing I notice is that usually, kind of the most recommended best practice is to, well, you need to override values on a subchart, do it yourself. But the use case that we have at IEA is that we are building charts. Basically, we already had like a whole suite of kind of a framework with different components packaged as charts. And we hit the use case where we needed to, add these subcharts that we don't control, that is from third parties from GitHub. The example in this case is like a proxy authentication proxy project. So we do not control the charts. We cannot, set globals in the chart. And basically what we had in place, we already had some structure and hierarchy in our values, where basically we kind of, hide the complexities of these charts to end users. Our end users are game teams that they are building services, but they're not necessarily experts on Helm or Kubernetes or cloud technology. So basically what we do, it's, okay, you have an application. We have some settings where you can set, for example, the host name or the URL of your service. And then there's a series, you enable some flags for the components you need. For example, you need a chart that is going to manage your secrets. You need a chart that's going to manage for example, your connectivity, or it's going to manage the Redis. So they don't need to deal with all the complexities of these components. They just, have a set of values where they can enable what they need and put some basic information, and the chart will set up the whole infrastructure, what they need for their application. And that's when we had this set of value. Now we were trying to keep the same pattern, adding these subcharts that we don't control. But unfortunately, we were forced to add like, okay, now you also have this global section. They're not, used to that. So it becomes a bit more harder to for them to manipulate. So when I was investigating on GitHub about the project, I found that the export values would be useful because, we can basically map our settings, the pattern we already have, to be able to inject those values in the subcharts without, creating these, because basically in our use case that we have a framework built on values that didn't follow the global structure. And we don't necessarily want to, refactor everything and make everyone lives harder trying to refactor all their applications. We're talking about a framework that has about like 20 different subcharts. So that's where we find also that globals become challenging, because maybe you have a few ones, it's okay. But when you have like, you need to, a team that jumps into Helm, it's gonna be, it requires like some sort of expertise or organization if you want to maintain a lot of components only using globals. So that's where we have an interest in this feature. Even we consider like implemented, eventually I found that there was a PR for that. So I wanted to share, well, this use case with you guys, just to give a more visibility on why we consider it's valid. And I also had impression across the community in the forums that in the issues that over time there's people asking for this again and again. So I wanted to give the maintainer this, share this use case with you guys.
Okay, and is this based off the feature 10059, Hector?
Sorry, it's I'm not familiar with the feature CPR 242.
I just stuck it into the chat. 10059. 242. It is, yeah.
So this was around the tip from our side from SAP.
All right. So he created a HIP, Philippe, was it?
Yes. So there
Yes.
was some PR that yeah, I don't know how good that already is. It was
I just took a look at it. I think this is, necessary to get things out of the dependency installation, right? Like you need to load your dependencies and then get like a URL to put in the chart.
so this is, I guess the main thing is it reduces duplication for if you use a parent chart that consists of multiple subcharts, then you would, whatever value is needed in multiple of the subcharts, currently there's no other way, or okay, you can put it in global, but then the subchart has to be built in a way that it in beforehand like knows that that's going to be used in that way, right? But there's no way for the parent chart, if you don't have control over the subchart, to somehow orchestrate that without like duplicating the value. So then the end
Yeah,
user
no.
would have to duplicate that. That could be URL, yeah, for example, like, or
Yeah, I understand. So I just approved the PR, so I don't know if somebody else has a
So
green button.
you've approved the HIP by just looking at it there, Josh, or the whole
Yeah,
HIP?
I think, yeah, it's pretty straightforward. It's short. If somebody's willing to add the feature, then yeah.
yeah, okay, then we probably will start working on an implementation next week.
Really appreciate that. Thank you.
I can't promise, but
No, take your time. Take your time. But
Yes,
I think it's
yeah, there's
it's
no
in the
rush.
community repo, so it's like, you know, we agreed on this is what we'll do if you do it, you know. So
Yeah.
take your time, but yeah, I think we can approve it in the community repo for sure.
All right, Josh, you might need to put someone else in on it, because I don't think one maintainer can agree a HIP. Mark, you might be able to better process
Yeah,
on that.
I think for the HIP CI, you need two. We also should give, I'm not a maintainer on that one, so, but we should give it a number. Matt Fisher used, I don't know if he kept track of the numbers that have been allocated. It's still at 9999. We should give it a number. Usually when something sounds reasonable, we give it a number, and then it goes further with the reviews.
Yeah, Josh, it might be worth looking for. There was something done around export values a while back ago again. It's not that particular feature that's in the PR. It was another one, so it might be worth having a look at that as well. If there's something, as far as I can remember, there was a PR from a while back, about maybe a year or two ago, sitting around as well. So just maybe take that into account.
I think Hector mentioned that. Is he still around? No. Yes.
Yeah, I actually don't see it reference on the HIP, but let me see if I can locate it. Just give me a-
And Philippe, you mentioned that that's not from you guys, that PR. So sometimes we have a reference implementation in the PR in the
no,
in the HIP. That's not from you. So maybe you.
No.
I think that PR is from that Helm fork, guys. What was that name again? I forgot what the name. So I'm not related in any way with that initial PR that tried to add that.
And you're saying it doesn't implement it the way you want, or it could be.
We tried it out quickly, but it's already 2 months ago or so, and we had some problems with that. So yeah, we would just re-implement it, getting some inspiration basically from that PR, and then yeah, see that we get this nice.
1005. Okay, you put it as a reference, and you.
What
you
we
put the
noticed,
10059 in the HIP, but
yeah, there's
you
another
say
one
about it.
There's an issue 3242 as well. That went
So-
stale a while back.
We want to make sure before this gets merged, even if it ever gets to that stage, right? We want to first play around with it and make sure it works well with import values as well. So, and like nested like grandchildren charts or something like that. So wanna like test that around before we just throw in some implementation and have a breaking change later on that yeah, to fix problems in interoperability with grandchildren or imports or whatever. It's already there, right? So,
Yeah. So pull request 10059 references some of those other PRs, some of those other issues in PRs. So you can see at the top references 3242, 7477, 3243. So this is a thing that's been floating around for a while. Some people have brought it to points and then it's just they haven't finished it out. So yeah, it's been there and thereabouts. So I suppose we just need to pull it together and make sure that all of them get taken into account, Philippe, you know.
yeah. We'll have a look.
Martin, when you were talking about another PR, are you talking about the 10059? Is that what you were saying?
I'm actually going back to 3242. It was an issue that was raised, and if you look off that, I think a person's handle was called Whitnell and I created, I can't find it now, but did a PR, and we reviewed it to a point and we feedback, and it just went dead a number of years ago, about a year or two ago, I'd say. So maybe if you followed from there, I got lost in the trail trying to find it.
Well, nobody seemed to raise it in that issue. Should we? Like, I just looked at this one too, and it looks okay. So I can't find the old one.
So 3242 will show you a proposal that was there.
If you find more, then yeah, please comment it on the HIP. Maybe we already have a list right there of related issues and PRs, then we can put that in there. I guess that would be a good point to collect all the related issues from the past.
Yeah. So so you get a lot of the information in there, Philippe, in 10059 in the description. Okay, so let's see if we can move that forward. And Josh, if you want to sync with some of the other maintainers, see if you can get that pushed over the line, if you have time.
Okay.
Okay.
I just want to find the link for that PR. I just approved this one too and said pending the old one. So I'll find the link. Someone find the link and we'll figure it out. Okay.
So before we go to the end, we're looking for moderators, people for notes and issue triage for next week. So stick it in the chat or stick your name on the doc, please, if you can do that. To finish out, Joe, we got kind of sidetracked there. Did we kind of cover that, or do we need to come back on that? Sorry, things come in from different angles on me.
Yeah, we can just talk about it next time.
Yeah, let's not talk about it next time, but I think it's a good discussion to bring up, how we're going to tackle this going forward, as you say, so we can keep the momentum on the PRs. And finally, Akash and Susan, you wanted to, all right, we're just top of the hour. So can we push that out till next week around ratify, if that's okay?
Sure, no worries. Yeah, we can come back next week. Yep.
Okay, excellent. All right, let's do that. So folks, thanks very much indeed for joining today, and just have a great into the week and weekend. We'll see you again next week. Okay, bye.